What if none of this is actually about Gunther at all? What if Triple H isn't protecting him from getting fired because he likes the chaos? What if he's using Gunther as a tool to find out something specific about somebody else entirely? Welcome back to WWE Galaxy. I'm Nova. Here's a theory I haven't seen anybody else raise yet, and once you line up the actual sequence of events, I think it holds up better than the simple Gunther's untouchable read everyone's going with. Remember, this isn't Aldis' first brush with consequences in this feud. After Night of Champions, when he and Gunther first shoved each other, WWE sent both men home and placed Aldis on administrative leave. That's significant. A general manager, someone who's supposed to be the voice of order backstage, got benched for losing his composure the same way the wrestler did. So heading into this second confrontation, Aldis wasn't a clean slate. He was somebody who'd already proven he can be provoked into acting exactly like the talent he's supposed to be managing. That's the piece I think changes how you should read everything that happened next. Think about what actually happens every time Gunther escalates. He doesn't just get away with it quietly. All this gets tested again, in public, on camera, and everyone gets to watch how he responds. Does he stay composed as an authority figure is supposed to? Or does he reach right back into that same physical instinct that got him suspended the first time? So far, he's reached back into it every time. Choked out, shoved, provoked, and each time, cameras catch him fighting back rather than de-escalating. If you're a company trying to decide whether someone's actually ready to transition from behind a desk into a real in-ring spotlight, that's incredibly useful information to gather. And it's information you can only get by repeatedly putting him in a position to fail. And this wouldn't be the first time a company has used a repeat aggressor to slowly build a case for somebody's in-ring return. Authority figures who eventually step back into competition almost always go through a stretch first where they get physically tested over and over until the audience stops seeing them as an office character and starts seeing them as someone who can actually go. It's a formula that's worked before precisely because it doesn't ask anybody to just accept a comeback out of nowhere. It makes the audience watch the transformation happen in real time, one confrontation at a time. Gunther fits that formula almost too well. He's not just aggressive, he's specifically the kind of aggressive that keeps forcing a reaction rather than letting Aldis simply walk away and de-escalate. A quieter antagonist wouldn't create the same pressure. This one keeps applying it every single week. If this kind of theory is what you actually come here for, tapping like and subscribing helps me keep chasing angles like this one. Let's get into why this actually makes sense as a deliberate strategy rather than random chaos. Here's what makes this theory hold together for me. If WWE genuinely wants to put Aldis back in the ring after years away, they can't just announce it out of nowhere. Audiences need to believe he's still got it in him, that the competitive fire is real and not just nostalgia. Gunther repeatedly provoking him and Aldis repeatedly reacting physically does exactly that work, for free, without WWE ever needing to write a promo explaining it. And Gunther gets something out of this too, regardless of whether he's in on the bigger plan or not. Every confrontation keeps him relevant to the exact story everyone's talking about, even during a stretch where he's lost 3 matches in a row. Being the center of attention, even as the instigator, beats fading into the background after a rough run. There's a piece of this puzzle that I think gets overlooked completely, and it's Pearce himself. Right now, because Aldis got suspended once already, Pearce is overseeing both Raw and SmackDown at the same time. That's a lot of territory for one general manager to hold on to, and it's exactly the kind of workload that tends to get redistributed the moment a company finds a clean excuse to do it. If Aldis proves himself worthy of stepping back into the ring, and by extension proves he's earned back full trust as an authority figure, that gives WWE a built-in reason to hand SmackDown fully back to him and relieve Pearce of half his current responsibilities. So this isn't just about testing whether Aldis can fight. It's about resolving an awkward 2-man authority situation that's existed since the suspension in the first place. Gunther's chaos might be the fastest route back to a cleaner org chart, as strange as that sounds. And here's the part that really sold me on this. When Aldis got reinstated after his suspension, Pearce specifically warned him not to get himself permanently placed on leave again. That's not just a throwaway line. That's one authority figure explicitly acknowledging to another that he's one bad decision away from losing his job entirely. Now put Gunther back in the picture. Every time he provokes Aldis, he's not just risking his own standing, he's putting Aldis directly back in danger of the exact outcome Pearce warned him about. If Aldis keeps reacting physically anyway, despite knowing the stakes, that's either recklessness or it's exactly the kind of fire WWE wants to see before finally pulling the trigger on his in-ring return. I want to be fair here too, because there's a much simpler explanation sitting right next to mine. It's entirely possible Gunther is just a frustrated athlete on a genuine losing streak, lashing out at the nearest authority figure because that's who happens to be standing there with no larger design behind any of it. Wrestling storylines don't always have a hidden architecture. Sometimes a guy just snaps, and the company decides afterward how to make the most of it rather than planning it from the start. If that's the real answer, this whole theory is just me connecting dots that happen to line up by coincidence. I think the timing and the specific detail about Pearce's warning make the deliberate version more compelling, but I'd rather tell you both readings honestly than pretend there's only one way to see this. So which is it? Is Gunther just protected chaos, or is he actually the mechanism WWE's using to prove Aldis deserves a spot in that ring before they ever announce it officially? Tell me your take in the comments. Like the video if this theory made you look at the whole situation differently, subscribe if you're new, and I'll keep tracking this one all the way to SummerSlam. I'm Nova, WWE Galaxy. See you in the next one.